From the existing contracts tab for an accepted quote, we have a number of options available to easily manage changes that might arise midstream. For example, the insured might want to change the withdrawal date of their payment. They might want to do it for one installment, the next one, or they might want to do it for all of their remaining installments. Simply clicking on the option will show us how many payments there are, when the first payment is, when the final one is, what the next payment date is, and then we can make a change. So we can move that payment in earlier than the 30th, or we can move it in later. So let's say we want to move it to December 5th to accommodate the insured's request, and they only want to do it for the one installment. So we'll leave every subsequent payment still on the 30th of the month and just change the single installment. Simply making that choice and clicking process, and then we'll get a confirmation in the bottom right hand of the screen, and we know this action has been done. And then we know there'll be an email that will be sent to the quote owner confirming this. We can also quickly look at the notes tab, and we'll see that the installment date has been changed one time from November 30th to December 5th. So that's one way to accommodate a common insured request. Other things that can be easily changed or managed are if the borrower updates their payment information or their personal information, with respect to their address, their phone number, that type of thing, email, that can all be done very easily. If they need to change their payment information, bank account or the bank information, that can all be done, as well as entering the date for which that change will take place. So we can update the bank information and then decide when that date will apply, and it will only apply to future scheduled installments. We can't apply that change retroactively to something that might have already been sent. Also, we can easily change policy information. For example, we may, as in the case here, have accepted a contract without really a firm policy number. Now we have it from the insurance company. We have from the insurance company confirmation of a updated policy number, so we simply save that, and again we would get a note that would reflect that activity. Other things we can manage that can come up from time to time would be a payment that the insured has made to the brokerage for some reason. Might be to make up a payment that was missed. For example, there was a default or a problem with the bank information. We weren't able to collect it. The brokerage then receives the money from the insured directly. So in that case, we would say, okay, the amount is $250, and it was on today's date, and it was for a missed installment, and the money went to the brokerage account. So the distinction between an additional payment or a missed installment is if they're making an extra payment, they're paying something they don't yet owe, and so that will then reduce the remaining payments. So that will have an impact on the future payments. If it's to make up a missed installment, then that's just to pay something they owe, and that won't impact future payments, and we can process a payment that way. In either case, we're making a distinction as to which bank account that might be deposited to, and that has some accounting implications, that choice, which we could talk about separately. So for example, if we put it at an additional payment, assuming that that will have some impact on the future ones, the system will tell us, will give us a pop-up and say the new payments are going to be this amount. Are you sure you want to proceed? So you can say, oh no, actually I meant to do missed installment, and we don't want to change the new one, so we'll just process it like that. And again, we'll have an email that goes to our owner, and we'll get a note that confirms that that activity has been done. And again, from our existing contracts options, we could do a loan buyout, so that can easily be done. If the insured wants to pay out their loan early, we can calculate it anytime, and the system will give us a value of what that's worth. We can buy out that loan based on today or future dates. We do have a separate user permission, which would allow you to backdate a loan buyout. And if you're able to backdate the buyout date, then we can do it in the past. This user is allowed to calculate the loan buyout based on the past date. Most users are not allowed to do that. Again, that's a user permission. Anytime you're processing the loan buyout, you're going to make the distinction of whether that amount is paid to the brokerage or the premium finance account. Again, that has separate accounting implications. And if you want to, you can process that. From time to time, you might want to do a refund to the insured for some reason. And you can process that, and that will then increase the AR to the insured on the premium finance side. So perhaps to get rid of a credit, we can process a refund if they've overpaid. A deal rescission or flat cancel, that you would use if you want to reverse a deal that was booked in error. So you can do that anytime up to 90 days post the effective date or until an endorsement has been processed. So if I process an endorsement for something, for a booked contract, I can no longer rescind it or reverse it. Basically, all rescinding is doing is reversing the contract like it didn't occur. So I did something by mistake, I'm going to reverse it. The notes, I can go in and I can add a note if I want to, or I can review the notes that are there. Testing, add note to accepted contract. If I add a note, I can send it to people associated with it. Broker Builder will get a copy of any note that's added, so support at brokerbuilder.ca will automatically get the note that you add. You don't need to enter our email separately. If you want to send it to somebody else internally, you can add email addresses to that, and you click save, and then your note is preserved. If you want to cancel the finance contract, you can, one, calculate what that amount is. You can say cancel for non-payments. And then we need to make a couple of decisions. Do we want to turn off the future scheduled withdrawals immediately? The default is yes, and you typically would want to turn off the future withdrawals. And then the next question is, do you want Broker Builder to send the registered letter to the insured? The default is no, that the broker would send that letter as opposed to Broker Builder, but you can change that choice. And then do you want Broker Builder to send a cancellation letter to the insurers? If you do, then you check off the value, and then you would need to have either an email or a fax. If you don't have that, then the system is going to prompt you to do that, or you can uncheck it. And so if we uncheck that, and we won't process one for now, that's just for illustrative purposes. So again, to cancel a finance contract, fairly easy to do. You need to make some choices. Once you've canceled it, if for some reason you want to reinstate it, with permission, once it's canceled, a new option will show up that says reinstate canceled finance contract. So you're able to reverse a cancellation if you need to. Transfer a balance to the brokerage. Again, maybe there's a credit you show on the brokerage side, and you want to manage that by moving a balance from the premium finance side over to the brokerage side to apply the brokerage credit against a premium finance balance. And so you would just enter the amount, $25, let's say, manage credit on brokerage side. And we process, and just like that, now we'd be moving an AR balance from the premium finance. AR would decrease by $25, and then you would post on the broker management side a $25 debit to the AR over there. And again, you'll get an email and a system note added to reflect this transfer. So those are the most common existing contracts options that are there. You can also do a write-off. A write-off would just basically take an amount, reverse admin fee not to be collected, as an example. So that's going to, again, reduce the AR by that amount, and it's just going right against the premium finance revenue account, lopping it right off of the revenue, and away you go. We can do the opposite of that by creating an AR invoice. That's another option. And then we can add an amount to be billed that will be pure revenue to the premium finance service. So that's a real quick look at some of the common day-to-day activities that you can process through existing contracts. Each of these are user permissions, so a user is only able to do the items you want them to do. You can assign any one or group of these to a specific user. It's up to you to do. You can also ask Broker Builder to process these things for you. And again, anytime you do these, you get a note added to the history of that finance contract, as well as an email going to the brokerage owner. Thanks for your time.